Hello and welcome to Barre. This is a mixture of ballet, Pilates and other fitness elements, and it's going to work best today if you are in socks or in bare feet. And today for extra props we will be using one that's small hand weight, so it doesn't even need to be a self-appointed hand weight. It can be just some object with a little bit of weight. You're going to be holding it in two hands, in one hand, so it's just something that's easy to grip. Place that to one side. We're also going to be using a band. I've got one of these long stretchy bands. If you have a looped stretchy band, that will work just as well, because it's going to go around our thighs to give a bit of resistance for an exercise midway through. So if you have those objects, just pop them to one side to begin, and we're going to be starting away from your bar. So for whatever you're using for your bar, I'm going to use the back of a chair. If it's the edge of the table, the mantelpiece, the wall, just step yourself away from it to start with. Have a bit of space around you. We'll start working through the feet and building up through the body, getting nice and warm. So let's crack on, let's do that. So starting with the feet underneath the sit bones, lengthening on both sides of the body, lifting through the top of the head. We're going to lift one heel and replace it. Do the same on the other foot, lift the heel and replace. And just keep that going. Feel that there's a little tiny shift of weight between. Try not to sway too much through the body, thinking length on both sides. Start breathing into the sides and back of the ribs. And start to think of that TVA corset muscle wrapping around the waist in towards the belly button. We can pick up the speed a little bit on that, so heel and heel. At the same time, think of that gentle lift between the sit bones, that pelvic floor engagement, putting the tissue out of the box, a little tiny lift. We're going to keep the feet moving, but we're going to be peeling the whole foot off the floor. In a 5 and 6 and 7, peel it off, replace. At the same time, we're going to reach two arms up to the sky. Take the palms to face each other when the arms are at the top, and then turn the palms out, press the air away as you come down. Nice and smooth. We're going to pick up the pace with the feet a little bit, so it becomes a little bit more springy through the foot, but not so much of a spring, we're still just transferring the weight. We'll reach the arms up again, breathing into the back of the lungs, press the air away. We could roll the shoulders back as we go, rolling up and over. We're going to take the shoulders forward, keep the feet going, roll it forwards. You've got two more of those, and then we are going to slow the feet down, but take the leg a little higher. So a little bit more into the hip socket now, lifting the whole thigh. At the same time, we're going to take a little rotation through the body, really small at this point, nothing too big. Pelvis facing forwards, just a little rotation through the chest. Two more of these. Replace the foot, bend the knees and reach up for the ceiling. And release the arms, lengthen the spine. Just take a little roll down, pouring the weight over. Definitely bend the knees as you go. Have a little hang here, have a little squiggle around. Maybe a little gentle nod through the head. And a little shake of the head. Start to drop the sit bones on, roll through the spine. Take a little lift through the chest. And coming back again. We're going to be stepping ourselves up to our bar, and we are going to be taking an exercise for please. So just shifting yourself, your bar, to where you need to be. We're going to be starting in a second position. And to make sure we're nice and comfy there, we're going to do some rotations through the legs. So just placing roughly your second position, heels just outside of the hips. The knees will be tracking in the same line as the center of the foot. So rotating from the top of the leg, we're going to shift the heels out and in a few times. Just to get that real feeling of rotation right under the sit bones, rotating from the top of the leg to come round. At the same time, tore through the spine, wrapping through the TVA. We're going to leave the heels in that second rotated position. We're going to plie and stretch. So just drop the sit bones down, lengthen away, spongy through the knees, and the knees tracking straight out over the center of the foot. We're going to go for two more, and then we're going to turn it into a rise instead. So we're going to lift the two heels, lift and lower. It does not have to be high, but it can be as high as you feel comfortable to go, as long as the ankle is supported. So a little rise, absolutely fine. We're going to go for two more of those. Try and keep that rotation, keep lifting through the thighs. We're going to stay up, we're going to come down and up. So again, you could drop the heels slightly if it's more comfortable there. It's as high or as low as is appropriate to your body. And try and relax the hands on your bar. Mine are always very tense, aren't they? Just try and release the hands. It's just there for some support. We're going to add some pulses. Down, 2, 3, come up. Down, 3, and up. Really trying to keep that rotation from the top of the leg. Try not to send the body weight back. Keep it forwards and up. 1, 2, 3. One more. We're going to change the pulsing action. Down and up for 3. Sorry, lost the voice there. Down and up for 3. Let's go for 4 more. Make sure it's still spongy in the knees. Things still lifted even as you're dropping down. Last one. We're going to come down again, little bend, drop the heels and lift. So we're going to move in the other side of the foot, press the heels down and lift away. We can speed that up and down. Try and get a little lower in your plie. Not too low, still a downward slope through the leg. And we're going to alternate heels, 1 and 2. Try not to let it become a sway through the pelvis. Think length on both sides. Just the legs working. We're going to go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Press 2 heels down. Lengthen up through the legs. Woohoo. Take a reach through the arms. Take a reach away. Close the toes in. Rotate the heels into a first. Rotate the toes in. Step away. Take a little stretch out onto your bar. Nice and comfy. Bend the knees if it's appropriate. Take a little lift through the spine. And very small little cat stretch forwards. We're going to step the legs back in again. We're going to come into a parallel position. We're going to take it into some tonjus. So the action is going to be a tonju to the front, a flex of the foot, a point of the foot, and close it back in. Tonju, brushing the foot along the floor to a full extension, taking a flex, taking a point, closing it in. We'll do the same to the back. We do the same to the side. And then we repeat that whole sequence on the other side. Front, side, back, and side. All in parallel. Then we rotate, we do the whole thing in a turned out position. So turned out right from the top of the leg. Front side, back side, front side, back side. And then if it's comfortable to do so, we're going to take it onto a rise. So you rise up, close the heels slightly closer together for some support. And we'll do the whole thing, just balancing up on that rise. Remember, you can come down at any point that you need to. So just a little challenge there. Coming back into your parallel position through the legs. Let's leave that going. We're going to come into our first tonju. On a 5, 6, to the front, it's front. Take a flex, take a point, close it down and same to the side. Trying not to shift the pelvis. Same to the back, trying not to shift the pelvis. To the back, close it down, last one. Before we change it to the other side. So they're all in parallel. Even ones at the side. The kneecap facing forwards. Flex, go toes, go down, take it to the back. Reach the heel away. Think of a long leg down the back. Reach the heel away. Come back. We're going to rotate into a first position. Take a little plie to rejoin the phrase of music. It's 6, it's 7, and 8. It's tonju. Take a flex. Take a point. Close it down to 2 feet if you can. So refine that balance on 2 feet before we shift away. And reach the heel behind you. So we're lengthening down the back of the leg. Lengthening up the front of the leg, change feet, reach away, trying not to sway through the body, so working on the core all the time really, just stabilising as you're moving from one foot to the other, keeping that balance. One more time to the side. We've got one more round, and it's with that optional rise for the feet, so I'm going to close just slightly in, come up onto my rise, close the feet slightly together, and we're ready to go. On a 5 and 6 and broad shoulders point, take a flex. Reach away through the toes, come back to 2 feet every time if you can. You might need a little more support from your bar. Try and just push down rather than gripping in. So think just pushing down onto that bar. Changing feet, last set, forwards. Reach the heel away. Sorry that mine's hidden by the chair there. Reach to the side, growing tall on that supporting side. 2 feet to the back. Try not to let the pelvis sway back. Last one to the side. It's a flex. It's a point. It's a close. Sorry about the music cutting out. Come down to 2 feet. Take a little bend through the knees. We're going to be taking an exercise for some body movement. This comes from the Total Barre repertoire, but I've mixed it up a bit. We did do this one last week, and we used it for using 4 motions for every thing. better way of saying that, but I haven't found it. We're going to do 1 rep of every movement, if that makes sense. So it's going to be 1 reach across. Remember, it's the one where the X factor is happening. So you've got reaching across to the front corner of the X, pulling the elbow back. I'll demonstrate with this hand. So it's across, it's back, it's across, and it's open. It's a bend. This one's a bit more of a waft, and then it's a side bend. So you've got pull, reach with the elbow, pull, reach with the whole arm, waft it up and over. That can be on a plie. And a side bend. We're going to do it 4 times. 1 side, second side, 1 side, second side, and then we're going to move away from the bar. If you need to just recap it, feel free to skip back and then jump in when you're ready. Let's give this a go. Not you. Here we go, reaching across. Reach across, pull the elbow. It can be a little more wafty through the body. Take a bend of the knees, open out, take a side bend, and come around, reach across the other arm. Pull the elbow back, pull away, whole arm, bend of the knees, curve it up and over. Just enjoy that sense of body movement. Let's take it again. Reach across, it's elbow. Reach across, it's the whole arm. Bend the knees, reach open, side bend. Around we come last time. At the bar, reach away, whole arm, bend your knees and waft. Woo. To a side bend, up and over round. Gently unroll your spine. Move yourself away from your bar, or move your bar away. We'll take the same thing in the center. So just moving your legs wherever you want them to go. They can do anything they want. It's a little bit of contemporary dance happening. Anything you want to do, just try and stay nice and grounded, soft knees, both feet on the floor. So let's take it again. We're going to reach across. We've got reach across, pull the elbow. And you can get the other arm involved as well if that's comfortable. It's a waft, up and over. It's a side bend. It's 1 more time. Take it across. Pull the elbow back, reach away. Take it back again, up and over, and round, side bend. Round we come. Take it, round on roll. Great stuff. If you've enjoyed it, do the whole thing again. Skip back and go for it again. If you're done with it, absolutely fine. Take 2 bent knees, reach the arms for the ceiling. Press the air away. Roll down through the spine, curve it over. Try and stay lifted through the legs, lifted through the kneecaps. Take a bend of the knees. You don't have to have fully straightened legs, only if it's available from your hamstrings. Gently unroll yourself. We're going to be moving into some work with our band and our single weight. So pop the weight within easy reach. We learn as we go. And we're going to take the band around the thighs. So if you've got one of those loopy bands, great stuff. Just pop that on. Like me, if you've got a long band, I tend to just wrap it to one side and hitch the little knot in place at the side of the leg. So the tension is holding the knot in place. If it gets faffy and it just falls off all the time, just drop it down. Or if you don't have a band, just drop it down. Well, just don't use one because you don't need it. You can do the same thing without just creating that same resistance by thinking about pressing slightly outwards, balancing inside the thighs, inside and outside thighs. All the words today. We're going to be starting with this little dude in our hands. We're going to be taking the feet into line with the outside of the hip, so just a little wider than sit bone distance apart, not too wide. We're going to be taking a squatting action, which is going to be a little drop down through the sit bones and reaching away through the top of the head. Let's go for some of those. So we drop it down and we reach it up. We're thinking sit bones dropping, but top of the head lifting, length on both sides of the body as we go. Let's go for 4 more. 1. Wide through the collarbones. 2. Try and keep the knees parallel over the feet. Last one of these. We're going to stay lengthened. We're going to take a little spinal rotation and back. So you can see it's very small at this point. It's the breastbone leading. Hands just staying in line with that sternum. You might have more rotation available than I have. I'm quite limited in my range for rotation. I've got more on that side than this side. That's quite tight there. Just try to keep that rotation coming from sternum and not from the whole body swinging around. So isolate from the waistline round. The last one of those, we're going to come back down into our little squat position. We're going to take 2 squat walks to one side and 2 back to the other side. So just 2 either way. pressing out into that band, trying to keep the legs parallel. So trying not to let the knee drop in. Think outwards into the band. Press into that resistance. 2 more either way. Coming back into your center. We're going to take that weight up. Now it's going to go off the screen, but it's going to be in my left hand. And I'm going to be taking it out to rotate the body, opening both arms away. When it comes over my head, I'm just going to pass it across like this. So that's going to happen now above my head. So it's probably off the screen. So we're exhaling to rotate, inhaling to bring it back up. And as it passes, it's just coming like that into my 2 hands above me. Reach it up, rotate down. Same deal, trying to keep the pelvis nice and still. Trying to rotate from the waistline upwards. Both arms should be visible out the corners of your eyes. You don't want to look something like this, you want to look more like this. Like you're just about to give a hug to someone standing over there, but your legs can't seem to move to meet them. And then we're going to go meet this person over here. Hey, can I give you a hug? And coming back. Go for 1 more to either side. And back, last one. Breathing out as you rotate. Breathing in as you return. We're going to take the weight back down. We're going to come into more squats. Don't go anywhere. I'm just skipping the music back. So we're going to come into, once again, a little squat down, 2 walks to either side, but we're going to add 2 walks, then we're going to take 2 little presses out with that leg. So walk for 2, think tap the foot, and walk it back. Twice, and reach away. So you've got a little added balance challenge, and more resistance into your band. Tap away, take it back. Still wrapping TVA around the waist. Still thinking long spine, not projecting the chest forwards, just lengthened. 1 more set to either side. Take it across. Reach away. Woohoo! Last set, it's back for 2. Whee! Feel that through the outside of the hip and glute. Take it down to 2 legs. We're going to take the weight back out into 1 hand. We're going to do little circles inwards that come towards each other, and then we're going to change hands. Little circles inwards. Take the weight out to the other side. Go circling backwards for bringing the arms in, and then we're going to change the weight hand. 8 little circles out. We're going to do that whole thing again. So circling in, it goes in, long on both sides of the body, trying to let the shoulders creep up, wide and proud through the collarbones, inward circling on the other side. Deep breathing, outward circling, closing the arms in, but circling out. 6, 7, change hands. Final set of circles. We're going to bring your weight back in. We're going to take a little pulse squat. We're going to pulse it down. 8 little pulses down. So just 4 more there. And 6, and 7. Hold it down. 8 little pulses out on both sides of the band. 8 of them, so keep it going. Try and close back to a parallel. Try not to let the knees drop in towards each other. Let's do that whole thing 1 more time. So you've got 8 little pulses down. Try and stay long through the body. Think of wrapping your glutes around underneath you. We're going to press out into the band. Here we go. 8 and 7. Weight just hovering in front of the sternum, long in the back of the neck. It's 3. It's 2. It's 1 last round. Final thing, I promise. Take the weight out in 2 hands. I'm going to take a little steering wheel. I was going to say to the end of music, but there's still a fair bit left. So we won't go all the way. You'd probably switch me off and go and find something else to do. So we're just going to do, let's see, let's have 8 more after this one. Here we go. So it's 8, it's 7. Little steering wheel action. Both shoulders staying down. Just 3 left. 1 and 2, and you're done. You can release the weight, you can release the band. Pop that away. We're going to be taking what we started 2 weeks ago. We started our cardio legs. We started with crawl back from behind. Last week we did to the side. Today we will be taking this to the front. So this is another one, and you will need your bar. So just bringing your bar back into play. And I am side onto my bar. You don't need ever so much room behind you. We're just taking it to a tendu, but you do need a fair bit of space in front of you, because from that tendu, we're going to be taking the leg to, first of all, another tendu 4 times. Then it's going to come through to a glisse 4 times, so just off the floor. Then it's coming through to a jeté, which is about knee height, 45 degrees. And then it's coming through to a grand battement, which is as high as is appropriate for your body. Could be 90 degrees, could be lower, if that's better for you. Could be higher, as long as it's not at the expense of the rest of your body collapsing to get the leg up there. It's about how strong you are and supported in the rest of the body to allow that leg to move freely. 4 of everything: tendu, glisse, jeté, grand battement. Place the hand onto your bar, side on, other hand on the waist, extend the foot to the back. We go to tendu and back, trying to leave the pelvis nice and still for these. There's no real reason for it to tip at all, because we've got a nice open space at the front of the hip. We're not going very high at the back. So it's hopefully just staying as still as you can get. It comes to the jeté, about 45 degrees. Try and brush the foot along the floor every time. Get that support from the ground. You've got grand battement for 4. 2 to go. Long on both sides of the body. Last one. Reach away rather than up. Close and the knees. Release. Good. We'll take it one more time on the other side. Do-do-do. I'm going to be in a slightly odd position of just slightly back from my bar, just to make sure you can see as much of the image as you can. On 5, 6, leg to the back comes tendu, to the back. 4 of those. Staying tall, brush the foot, as we trained those 2 feet down in our tendu exercise earlier. Same thing here, contact with 2 feet, 2 jeté height, reach away. Try not to let that hip bone lift. Try and stay long through the spine. Find something to focus on the wall to help you with balance. Grand battement front, tendu back. 3 more. Stay tall, reach away, nearly there. Last one, and down, close, bend the knees. Well done. Take a little inwards and outwards rotation. Just moving through that. Noodly legs like noodles. Noodly legs. We're going to be coming down into the floor. Remove your bar, move yourself from your bar. We're going to be coming down. Option to have this if you want it, but it is an option. You do not need it for the exercise. The exercise is going to be supine on your floor. So gently come down, find your supine position. I shift slightly this way. There we go. So I've got a neutral spine. I've got my sit bones aiming towards my heels to my sit bones. Toes pointing down to what would be the end of my mat space. Hip bones, pubic bone, trying to be level as long as I'm not pushing through the back to achieve that. Maybe a little space between the lower back and the floor, maybe not. Just check yourself if it's there. Heavy through the rib cage, heavy through the arms to begin, heavy through the shoulders and the head. If your feet are far away, close them a little closer to your sit bones. We're going to be taking a glute bridge or a shoulder bridge. And the way we're going to do it is this. We're going to breathe in and wrap the glutes. We're going to press into our bridge position. We're going to inhale and stay. We're going to exhale and come down. We'll do it again. Breathe in, wrap the glutes. Exhale, press into the feet. Keep those glutes active. And exhale, come down. 2 more like that. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. It's nice and smooth. It does not have to be fast to be effective, but it does have to be engaged. Come down. You could make it more challenging by taking both your arms off the floor. And you might find that your pelvis wants to sway a little bit from side to side. That just might mean that one set of glutes is faster reacting than the other. And so we're trying to work as evenly as possible. 2 hip bones and 1 pubic bone all going up together. 2 hip bones and 1 pubic bone all coming down together. So try not to roll through the spine for this, but just activating the glutes, hamstrings to bring you into that position. You could have a different challenge. We could bring the arms down and we could be raising one leg once we're up there. So the way we do that is this. We breathe in, prepare. We exhale, come up. We're going to inhale, press the foot down on one side and raise the other leg, place it down. Inhale, press the foot, raise to tabletop, place it down. You could keep that going. You could come down at any point whenever you needed to rest the spine into the floor. Again, nice and smooth. Faster is not necessarily better. Make sure that you are activating the glute on the working side before the other leg disappears, before it comes away from the floor. And once you've done roughly an even number on either side, release the feet, release the pelvis, have a little rest for a second, have a little wiggle around. We could add both those two things together. We could take the arms off the floor to begin. Now you might need to slow it down a little bit. Exhale to press away. Don't worry about going off the music for this. This is about core stability. And coming down. So TVA wrapping around. Glutes supporting underneath the pelvis. The pelvis, the bit that's just free form at the moment. There's nothing to support it from the floor. So it's got to be supported muscularly. Trying to keep two hip bones looking straight to the sky. Trying not to let the pelvis drop in space. If you find your pelvis has dropped in space and the only way to get it up is to push through your back, then place it back down instead. Have a little rest. The muscles just might be a bit fatigued. Endurance is not quite there yet. Bring it down. Endurance builds slowly. Have a little rest. We're going to do one more version. So we're going to take the arms up again or place the arms down. You can raise them at any time if you want to. Wrap the glutes, come back up. We're going to take the leg up and we're going to see if we can extend it to the sky and bring it down. All the way to the ceiling and replace. If that's good, if that's okay, you could flex the foot, paint the leg away down the wall, paint it back up the wall. I'm saying paint like your foot is a paintbrush. So we're thinking paintbrush, swiping down, swiping back up again. Just one on either side for today. Reach away, reach through that heel, come back up again and down. I've said one on either side and then I've done several. By which I mean one swipe per leg can bring the pelvis down at any time. Take your poison, we're going to do one more round. You might be doing the swipey legs. You might be doing the single leg raises with two arms up. You might be doing the single leg raises with two arms down. You might be doing the lift and the lower. There is no better or worse version. There's only what is most appropriate to your body today. And your body is different every day. So go with what feels most comfortably challenging. A comfortable challenge. Pick a poison. Wrap the glutes. Come up into your bridge position and off you go. With whatever you're doing, you're thinking about two hip bones looking straight to the sky. No rocking and rolling through the pelvis. Shoulder blades still down on the floor. So the back of the neck is not pressing into the ground. And I've gone completely off the music and you might do too. Just following your own breath pattern. I would inhale as the leg comes up if you're raising. Exhale to take it away. Inhale to replace. Come down. Whatever you're doing, give me two more reps. That might be one on either leg, or that might be two with 2 feet down on the floor. Final time. Wide collarbones. Once you have replaced the foot, wrap the glutes for good measure and replace the pelvis to the floor and take the legs into the chest. Have a little rock from side to side if it's comfy. A supine shell stretch there. We're going to be bringing ourselves up into a standing position. I'm going to go this way today. I'm going to roll it right over and I'm going to come into a kneeling shell stretch. If that's not one for you, take a cat stretch instead. So onto lifted sit bones, otherwise sit bones sitting down into the heels, rounded spine. Think lifted through the back of the head rather than pushing down. That sense of lift. We're going to rock it forwards. We're going to tuck the toes under. Before we fully come up, if it's available to you to sit back and stretch out a little bit into the thighs, go for it. If it's not the one for you, just hold into that crouch for a second. We're going to be coming back to join you. We're going to be coming to here. Feel a bit of a stretch down the Achilles. If you're someone who can comfortably sit with the heels down, just tip the weight forward slightly. Long through the back. Press the hands down, lengthen two legs. Lovely and long through the spine, lovely and released. We're going to drop the knees, we're going to unroll through the spine, come back up to standing, wrap the TVA, lift between the sit bones, come around. And we are done there for today.